Good afternoon, everybody. How we all doing? Hope we're all doing well. Enjoying your weekend? I hope so. Some of us on the last day, some of us on the Saturday. So either way, we're still both in the weekend, which is a bonus. Here we are back with Farming Simulator 22. Almost a week since it's been released. And for some reason, I'm planting a harvested field texture. I don't know if anyone else watching has had that as well, notice that. And of course I'm doing the field that I planted the wrong crop on last week, and you can see that's given me a seeded texture on that one, but not on this one. And also I went to seed it and I thought I had barley selected, and no, I had wheat, but it actually made the effort to let me know it was the wrong crop today. So there we go. But I've got to make up for lost time. This is the Farming Simulator 22 Monopoly competition, and there might be a prize in it at the end of it, just to get Patrio a bit more interested into it, perhaps. Which he's here with me, and yeah, he's here, and Smudo's here, so let me unmute them and say hello to them. And how are you guys today?
I am good, but for some reason I have a failed contract in my lineup for plowing field 32, which I never did. I never accepted that contract. The last contract I did was 56.
Okay.
So that's weird.
Yeah, no, I've got it as well.
Okay, I'll check it out in a second when I turn around and see if I've got the same thing. I know there was a couple of issues with the contracts disappearing after being accepted. Also, I've got a mod on called Refresh Contracts, and whether or not, I haven't had a chance to test it to see if it will work on multiplayer or not. So far so good, but we haven't actually pressed the button to refresh the contract to see if that causes any issues. So we just have to wait and see. So maybe that's something that's causing that. I'll see if I've got a lower errors here. Everything looks good to me. So yeah, some extra mods have been added in.
Yeah, the only major hiccup I'm noticing is my contract list correctly states the field that I'm on as active, but the field number isn't flashing.
I never did it? Oh, it flashes, yeah, that's right. Or actually, Better Contracts, the mod that we used in the previous one, that's also on the currently being tested by Giants list. So that might be out this week, along with the Place Anywhere mod, I think it is, but it's got the same.
Chris talked about that. Placeable is extended is the name, I think.
Yeah, but he didn't know what it was, but that was the name it was with the global company, which is where we all used it. That was their name for Place Anywhere. There is a Place Anywhere mod out. So yeah, I don't know who's doing it, whether or not it's this LS Mod Company that's released this one, but there's a few mods on the list. There's a 3-day working wait at the moment, probably because 2 of those days will be Saturday and Sunday where they're not working. Hence the reason why we don't get any mods those days.
Now that's just lazy.
So far, almost a week, still liking this game, still like the release of it and everything that's come with it so far. Still wish there was a GPS standard in the game. I think it was something they should have taken care of first and foremost, because everyone wants it, basically. Well, apparently they've got other things on their plate they want to take care of before getting a GPS, which I wouldn't have thought it'd be that hard to do, but as far as I know, there is one in the works. There's a Courseplay in the works, there's Auto Drive in the works, I think, and a Follow Me. I haven't heard a word about the AI extensions for Mr. Frifka. Extension? Yeah, there's something like that. Maybe a couple others. I wouldn't mind a vehicle inspector like we had. That'd be rather good.
Yeah, I can't collect the failed contract either. It's stuck there.
Okay, give us a sec. I'll check it now actually. Contract, so what field is it?
For field 32, it's a plowing contract. No, I see you have it too.
Down, I just collected.
Ah, it's gone now. Nice.
Yeah, I collected it. I also see Mr. Patrio's in and out with his video feed today. As usual, we've got Smudo down the bottom and Patrio, well...
Should be near the top somewhere.
Oh, there we go. The invisible man. Okay, I've just noticed your trees, Smudo.
Yeah, they're flickering like crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually on Duxhurley's.
I don't have that too often though. Only sometimes.
Well, I was on Duxhurley's live stream last night with the multiplayer, and we were graced with the presence of a Mr. Panda. And he was mentioning he had that as well. He was asking if we've had it. So I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about. But now I see what he was. So, so far, must be just affecting the Europeans.
That would suck.
Maybe it's just confused because you're currently in winter, we're currently in summer, and the game doesn't know what textures to load. Well, we're in spring and you're in autumn, I suppose, so that's probably what it's doing. Looking between the two.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Of course not, it's a game. It's not supposed to.
Oh, of course not, it's giants. So, yeah, like I said, carry on, Patro.
Oh, I was just going to say, less interesting news. Turns out the tape measurement mod that I was using in 19 was easily ported across to 22, so my free time's going to be devoted to retesting every tractor in the game again.
Nice.
You think much changed?
Well, the transmissions will probably have an effect, because obviously I'll be using automatic compared to doing everything manually, so you go CVT versus actual H pattern selectors.
Hmm.
The different physics as well. Tractors are more affected by weights and stuff in this, I've noticed, than they were previous editions.
That, and yeah, we now got 5-6 different tyre brands to play with, so that's testing every single tyre to see if any pieces of rubber make a specific piece of traction difference.
Well, you'd think they would. There's the point of having them unless they're just giving you the brands. Like trucking sim with ETS, not ATS for some reason. I don't understand why, but yeah. You buy different tyre brands, they all have a different sort of characteristics of them. So, but yeah. It's one of those things I don't understand why that's an ETS too, but not an ATS. Just like I don't understand why in ATS you get insurance for paying off your repairs and stuff like that, and you don't get it with ETS too, so, which is fine because I found a mod that does that. It's all good for that competition in the streams. But yeah, as I was going to say, a week with this almost, and yeah, I like what I see so far, but mind you, I haven't played as much in a week as I would have done in previous versions like 15, 17 and 19, so I probably haven't done enough to test it properly, but still quite enjoy it. What about you guys?
I still like it quite a bit.
I've mostly just been faffing around with things, so making sure my VR setup works, which it does with a little bit of tweaking, just tinkering and testing, answering people's questions by jumping into my test map and looking at it. So as I said, my quote-unquote proper single-player save, I've done all of 2 spraying contracts and a plowing contract, and that's it.
But one thing I do have, which I found out is a common issue, is me jumping out of the game to go to the main menu and it just quits to the desktop. Apparently
Yep,
that's caused by scripted mods. So I'm eagerly waiting, I think a few people are, for updates from Giants just to fix a couple of things, especially for what we're doing. It'd be nice to be able to harvest, knowing that we can finish the contract.
That would be nice indeed, yeah.
I also noticed that with the ridge markers, both on the Vetastats actually, I've noticed this, a couple other ones that haven't had the issue, but the ridge markers are out as far as the distance, because when I've used both Vetastats, this one here, the 3 meter one, which is a mod, and the in-game one, when I follow the ridge marker, part of the seeder is going over what I've already done, which a couple of ones I used didn't do that, so I suppose it's to be expected. You've got a lot of stuff to take care of and look at. I mean, you could argue that these things should be tested, and ridge markers and the way they work would be an easy test. You just put the ridge marker down and then see if it at the right distance, so I don't know. I have no clue as to why. So, for anyone new here, we got the reason why it's called Farming Simulator Monopoly is because we're doing a bit of a competition. We all started with the huge amount of $0, and the whole point is we're going to go until all the fields are bought. Most likely to probably do a year. It's no point just buying the last field and go, right, all bought, let's finish it. Might as well utilise that field. We'll go for probably end of the year, depending when it's bought, an extra year in seasons. And at the end of it, we're going to sell all our equipment, all our buildings, all our lands, and the one with the most money wins. That simple. I know, it took me a long time to think of it. And there might be a prize at the end of it. Finance depending. Maybe
the real prize are the friends you made along the way anyway.
Yeah, as always. But a Steam gift voucher probably never go amiss with it. Or something, I'll have to have a look at it. I'm currently possibly also going to be moving house, so I'll have to sort that out.
No more stinky stuff then.
I blooming well hope so. No more constant vibrating of the house. Especially during summertime, I hope. Then we'll wait and see. We'll just see how the setup goes and that, and there might be, if it's all right, I can have more control over the sunlight and more control over the lights. There might be a camera installed, so you can see my ugly mug while doing this, but that also depends, because the one thing is where I'm going to, it's right next to a road, so I might get a bit of road noise. I'll have to wait and see how that pans out. So hopefully I've done enough to give me some room going up and down. And also, for those who weren't here on Tuesday with our first Farming Simulator 22 stream, a bit of drama unfolded. Well, first off, we had the rules, and one rule I forgot to mention was no loans, but that's now been adjusted because someone got right into the loans, and fair enough, it's just, I would have done that if I wasn't going to do any loans, but I was going to allow loans, but we're going to allow the loans now, and what we're going to do is that you can use a loan to buy buildings, equipment, anything like that, but when it comes to buying farmland or anything, well, any land actually, you just need to make sure you've got no loans. So you need to repay them back before you do. And so, but yeah, last week we had a special guest, and we also had Mr. Frithgar turn up, so that was lovely. And he ran around and grabbed all the Easter eggs and split them between the three of us. We had last week, we had DJ here as well. I was hoping he would be a regular, but he's either forgotten or he just can't make it as part of the competition. But let me get a ridge marker up. There we go. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a little bit of I wouldn't say cheating, give me an advantage is the term I would use, a bit of an advantage. Now I went off to make my coffee and as usual I transferred over to Patrio screen, which I've got to set up your screen so we don't know your back, so it's full screen and get you to do the sound, and I can flick between the both of them. Anyway, I went off to make coffee and we were speeding through the night, which we won't have to worry about now because we've got the sleep anytime mod on, or sleep anywhere mod installed. And before I came back, I was sitting here, and as it clicked over, I went into the contracts window and picked out the best paying contract while they all thought I wasn't here. And it was a seeding job for barley on a field. The field I just happened to be on now, and yeah, I did the whole field. And went to collect, drove all the way back to the shop, went to collect the thing, and it turned out I had planted wheat and it didn't tell me I had the wrong crop like it used to in previous versions. So I had to lease this thing that's behind me, this seeder, come all the way back down here and redo this thing. So I'm going to take a bit of a loss. It backfired on me, but just to even like stick the knife in and twist it a little bit further, I went to start seeding just before we went live, and I thought I had set it to barley last week, but I hadn't. It was still on wheat, and I went to plant and it actually told me I had the wrong crop. Go figure. There hasn't been an update since. There has only been one update for this game, and that was on the first day. Everyone I think is on version 1.1.0.0.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah. Advantage takers never prosper, apparently.
I think the meme for that one is, congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, I outplayed myself. Oops. So yeah, I've cut. Oh no, don't do that. No, that one. Right. Yeah, so I'm currently on $2,158. Before this muck up, I was on 10 grand. I was actually second highest amount. Now, Mr. Patrio was number one because he spent most of his time running around trying to find the Easter eggs as well.
Much like I believe a certain someone else is doing at the moment.
A certain someone finished one of the sets and is almost loan free again.
Yeah, so that's I've forgotten about that. No one would, if I would have actually gone on the XML and made them all found. So we didn't have that.
For me, it was a case of last week. I kept fumbling with the contracts, making a mistake of returning the equipment when I was supposed to be using it for a second job, and mixing up spraying versus fertilizing. So that's all on me, but it put me down to $0. I'm like, can't even afford to refill the sprayer.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it because I didn't say it. It's there, it's around, people pick it up. I'll just take it as more of a challenge for me. It'll just make my winning more sweeter. But yeah, I actually forgot about doing that Patreon until this week. Actually keeping the implements and just picking the contracts. I think it's, yeah. Though, hopefully, it's not worthwhile now because you can only have the 3 contracts, and since there's the 3 of us choosing the contracts, you might lose out on a contract for something that you've got, that you're keeping. So you have to get out another contract and borrow the equipment, and then lo and behold, you want to keep that, and then you don't have another contract for that because someone else has gone and taken that, and then you get another contract, and you're just down to one at a time or something like that. Which yeah. Actually, I did say we only do one at a time, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you keep a contract that you completed. It's not like it can be redone. Mind you, actually, maybe that should be a no-no because you're denying that field to move to the next contract that can be available for people.
Well, one could do it in a way that before we skip a night, you have to finish up all the contracts. Even though the ones you kept, that way overnight it can switch to the next contract.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we've got refresh contracts, but I might consider changing that if when the better contract mods comes out, because if it's the same as it was before, we can have multiple contracts, and which would have to put a limit on. I would probably still one at a time, but yeah, I have to think about that one. But if it adds contracts to fields that don't generally have contracts, which would be a bonus.
Which is the other minor thing I noticed. No more transport missions.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I didn't notice that. I should have done. I've been doing contracts all week, and yeah, no transport. Thank goodness I got no auto load. Well, maybe we should. I don't know. Maybe instead we could do. If the better contracts doesn't allow it, maybe we'll say we're allowed up to 6 contracts, and you get them out, and you got your contracts for the day, and you've got to get them done in a day. And once you're done, that's it.
You can try. Oh, you mean in total, no matter how many?
Yeah.
You manage. Oh, okay.
And we could possibly try that now. We've got the refresh contract, so maybe at the end of this day, when we start the new day, if we finish our contracts off, the next day we pick 3 contracts, which means we're going to be fighting against each other, so it's going to require quick trigger fingers. And then when you finish 3 contracts, you're allowed to get yourself 3 more. We'll see. I mean, once we're up and running, I won't be doing contracts. I'll be just trying to figure out the best way to make money with my farm and my equipment. Going to be a bit of tweaking required in this one. Maybe I should change it to FS22 multiplayer Monopoly beta.
Oh, yeah, the fun part is trying to set up where to pick the first farmland, because a lot of the tiny fields that would be useful for using as yards, they're all linked together as a medium size. For example, like 66 and 67 in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, well, and there's a whole bunch up top right. Draw grass fields. Oh, I've done it again. Wrong button. I realised we're going to be on 5 times speed. And no, I've done it again. On 5 times speed, and I keep pressing the number 5, which brings up the radio. I'm as sharp as a paper knife.
I am certain there's a knife sharpener video where they do make a paper knife. And it was pretty sharp.
I suppose it can be done.
Well, I mean, cardboard being a more broad blade, and that still cuts you.
Well, you get paper
Definitely seen that
cuts,
from experience.
which is one of
Yeah,
the
see,
nasty ones.
I kind of actually prefer paper cuts over cardboard cuts because they're more fine. So, yeah, it's not so bad. Whereas cardboard leaves a lot of debris in the wound.
Yeah. Actually, it sort of surprises me that razor blades ain't made out of paper. So precise. So I've got an update on the stone and tipper situation, if you guys haven't heard.
Oh yeah, do tell.
Tippers take stones, even though they haven't got the icon for it.
Oh yeah. Frith told me that a few days ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why they didn't add the icon though, because they do have the space.
Yeah. But I suppose it was just a matter of trying to put a stone in there to find out.
True.
It's just funny enough, I've done that this morning. I was like, oh, yeah, I wonder if that still works or not with the Stevie one, and then it did. So then I tried it with the standard one. I'm like, hang on, who said it doesn't work?
Well, he'll be a happy chappy. He can do his stone farming now.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't make money off that though.
Yeah, 20,000 litres only gets you like $4 grand.
Well, off to the river then. The digger.
Hmm.
This is going to take me a fair old time to do, I'll tell you that much. Alright, line it up. Put it in the crosshairs.
Also, should I mention to Smudo that the cheats launch tag works and that enables flight, which works in multiplayer? You just gotta know the command for it.
Command,
Yeah, but the cheats one won't allow me to add that to the launch thing. Every time I try it, it says can't do it.
you should be able
Space
to.
after the quote.
After the quote?
Yeah, you got to do it after the quote. Yeah. I said that to you last week, and you said, yeah, you did. So after the quote mark, you put space and then dash cheats.
See, I'm a dum-dum. I put it inside the quotes.
Which was the other one for Frith, because you can manually add hours to the vehicle's odometer or hour clock, or however you want to call it.
Yeah, you can.
I was saying about his Mahindra having brand spanking new after driving across the middle of nowhere.
Well, I think
of course, that would increase. So that would increase the wear and tear percentage.
Actually, I don't think you need the dash cheats to get the flight mode though. You just need to have developer console enabled for that one. Dash cheats
for that
has
one, you
like.
only need the dev controls.
So when you add in money and stuff like that, and super speed, super strength, that's what you need it for.
Yeah.
Those commands.
As well as fill level, that sort of stuff. Well, but yeah, as you know, with the easy dev controls, I still like the fact that they give you the fill units that the thing will accept. So yeah, that way you're not just like half guessing and just getting an error message back. Although they did split out the HUD disable option away from the flight toggle.
I've got myself a strategy I'm going to try out the next day.
Do tell.
No. It wouldn't be much of a strategy if the other team knows about it. They can come up with a defence for it, and it doesn't make it a strategy anymore. It makes a waste of time.
Well, true, but you can't fault me for trying.
No, I can't.
But he will.
So yeah, I can.
You are so mean.
Oh, I'll say to you, mate, it was worth the crack, Nigel. But I missed. Oh, look at that, I've got it forever. I got sick of this doing this today on me solo play, doing a big field like this blooming thing. See, look at there, look at that. That's where the ridge marker is. This, I know I'm wasting time here, but look. Tyres are halfway over it. More than that, 3/4 of the tyre is over the planted texture that looks suspiciously like a field that's been harvested. So the ridge markers are definitely out. Whether or not it's a marker or if it's got something to do with maybe the slope on the field like you had with 19. Possible. So we're going to get the outside of the wheel because I think this tractor is 3 metres wide. And we'll stick with that and see how we get on. How we get on, John? Yeah, so I was using this on a field and I ended up just putting hard worker on and losing all my money because I just couldn't deal with it. I obviously haven't got all of me passion back for this game yet. It must be still a bit burned out from it. Mind you, once I start to get into things, maybe... There we go. It lines it up there now. We're all good now. But yeah, it was a bit mundane to do. Thankfully I was doing a bit of ploughing and I've got the Stevie plough, which is fantastic, 4 metre width with 18 kilometres an hour speed. Love it. Just a shame he hasn't added in any seeders as yet.
Well, that's a bit of a pickle.
What?
A cucumber? It's a bit of a pickle, but not quite.
I went to take a seeding contract and the seeder came as 2 parts, the cultivator part and the seedy part. Went to hitch it up and the seedy part just decided that it's allergic to the cultivator part and did the insect thing of laying on its back.
Is it already filled?
No.
Then just reset it to the shop.
Icons are too bunched together, I couldn't see it.
So how are you guys getting on currently at the moment?
Well, I finished my ploughing from last week and, well, as I just said, taking up my seeding for today. That's going to be slow going.